Hey parents, welcome back to another Parent Chat. It's Pastor Mike here. Today we're going to be talking about having family devotionals. Doesn't that seem like a big term and something that's not achievable? Well, it doesn't have to be. You know, family devotionals don't have to be some multi-hour, multi-complex worship moment where you spend half a day. In reality, with young kids, this is a hard thing to accomplish. So I want to roll out a few practical things that you can do with your kids starting in the morning. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's hard for me to wake up before my kids wake up. They're usually knocking on my feet or my elbow to wake me up in the morning. But there are sweet times in the morning that you can have if you prepare a little bit of time. Now, if you're always rushing out the door and you never have time to even slow down and you're just saying, eat your breakfast, we're leaving, well, that doesn't really make too much time for a meaningful moment. And I use that word moment because it doesn't take that long for you guys to get in God's presence. So one thing we do at my house is in the morning during breakfast, we always pull out the devotional from the shelf by the table. It's reachable, it's always there, we know where to find it. And we actually use a toddler devotional because we have young kids. And it's one thought, one verse, a very simple concept, and we just get in God's presence for just a few minutes around the dinner table. And maybe the verse will talk about how God is powerful, and so we'll talk about how powerful God is. And that's just during breakfast. You have a captive audience because they're eating food right there. And no matter how old your kids are, you can use a different devotional for their ages. But that's one way that you can start a day with family devotionals. Another time is in the car. I like to ask my kids questions. Sometimes I ask them, like, would they rather go on a plane or a helicopter? Or I'll ask them what their favorite ride is at Disneyland. But you can also ask spiritual questions like, do you know how much God loves you? Well, if you don't, then let me tell you how much God loves you. He created you, He knows everything about you. So you can turn the conversation spiritual. We spend a lot of time in the car. Let's not waste it. Another time, I want to talk about the end of the day, before you go to bed. So throughout the day, whether you're working all day or it's the day off, a lot of times it's just the whirlwind. You're going from activity to activity, and sometimes maybe your kids have screen time, and none of us let our kids watch too much TV, right? I know it doesn't happen. Of course it happens. But here's the thing. There are differences with TV shows that are Christian and just, other things. So Christian TV shows, there's different apps that you could subscribe to that are Christian faith-based apps. And so I would encourage you not to let your child have a strict diet of just, maybe Disney movies or whatever the top kids shows are on Netflix. You know, some of those things, it's not the worst for them to enjoy harmless kids shows, but it can't be the only thing that they watch. You should sprinkle in some Christian content, whether it be VeggieTales or other shows like that. Now, that's during the day. In the evening time, we read books to our kids before they go to bed. And so we have a whole bunch of books, and some of them are all about the Bible, and some of them are about teacups and other things like that. So sometimes we read them books about fuzzy bears and just fun kids' stories. But there are other times that we use that time pointedly to read them Bible stories, to have that be the last thing in the day that they read. So it's a balance. And then lastly, I want to talk about our Harvest Kids live show. How can you use that show to train your kids up? You know, Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So part of what we do in the kids show here is over 3 years we go through the whole Bible. And it's not every single Bible story. There's hundreds of those, but there are 156 weeks in 3 years. And so we cover a lot of the main points of the Bible. And what my family does is we sit at the breakfast table on Sunday morning, and then my kids get to watch Harvest Kids Live before they go to church. Now, being a pastor, I'm always going to church early, and I'm there before the sun rises. But my kids, they watch Harvest Kids Live before they come to church. And then they actually get to watch a version of it again at church. And so they get double lesson for that day. But these are all ideas of how you can introduce talks about God and having devotional time with your kids throughout the day. Now, I want to say there is time to worship the Lord too. In the car, are you teaching them songs that have nothing to do with anything, or are you teaching them Christian songs? Now, you can plan family devotions and have maybe Saturday mornings and longer times where you're going to go serve or pick up trash and really honor the Lord. And we can get more into that in another parent chat. But for now, these are simple, tangible ways that you can dive into devotionals as a family. So that's it for this parent chat. Thanks for listening, and God bless you as you train up your children in the way they should go. Bye-bye.